position, throw more punches, and it's just a matter of time. That lets us know he's dead. Mike Tyson's such a threat to the heavyweight division because he is such a good finisher. He gets you hurt, he doesn't let you off the hook.
So I got that conscious now to deliver a shot. He's trying for the head. Now we see the edge. You don't want to take too many from Tyson. He took a big left hand there. To stop the guy coming in. And it's with a jab. You gotta jabs, angles, and combinations.
Before becoming heavyweight champion of the world, Mike Tyson lived a hard life in Brownsville, Brooklyn. Being one of the most ruthless neighborhoods in New York, he grew up surrounded by violence, drugs, and poverty. He was constantly bullied in school, causing him to turn to the streets at the age of 7. He fell into a life of crime when he got involved with a crew of robbers, helping them unlock house doors by squeezing through small windows. Through this group of thieves, he found a sense of belonging, as everyone else in his neighborhood put him down. His crew also introduced him to pigeon flying, a popular sport in the city. He initially ran errands for them, feeding the birds and tracking them down when they would fly to other buildings. As he accumulated money, he bought some birds of his own. One day when going to check on them, he noticed a group of teenagers surrounding the coops. He told them to back off, but one of the kids refused and killed the bird he was holding as Tyson pleaded. Mike was enraged and began wailing, knocking him out after his third punch landed. He suddenly realized his power and from then on fought anyone who gave him trouble, even people years older than him, as he was freakishly strong for his age. He was also becoming more violent and reckless in his robberies. He was robbing everyone, even people in his own neighborhood. By the age of 12, he had been arrested so many times that he exhausted every detention center in the city. He was eventually sent upstate to Tryon School for Boys, where he continued to terrorize everyone around him. It was here, however, where he discovered Bobby Stewart in the sport of boxing. Bobby ran boxing sessions for students who would come back to class with broken noses and cut lips, but they were all filled with joy. Mike wanted to join in, hoping to use any skills he could learn to improve his robberies. Bobby refused to train him though, demanding Mike to straighten out his behavior before coming back. Mike quickly became a model student and started to respect people around him, earning his spot to spar with Bobby. After just a few rounds in the ring, it was clear to Bobby that Mike was a prodigy, and he couldn't watch his talent go to waste, as Mike was set to go back to Brooklyn on parole. Instead, he introduced him to the legendary boxing trainer Cus D'Amato, who had trained countless boxers including Floyd Patterson, the previous youngest heavyweight champion. When the two arrived at Cus's gym, they began sparring to show off Mike's talents. Impressed with what he saw, Cus's first words were, "That's the heavyweight champion of the world." Still a stranger to Mike, Cus showered him in compliments and praise, Mike not seeing anything special about his fighting skills.
I believe it. I looked at this guy, and then I started thinking. I said, this guy's really crazy. That's what I said, this guy's crazy. He said, you do what I tell you to do, and if it doesn't work, then you could leave. So I said, okay, bet.
We react like a rock waller. We relate, we play for high stakes, a long point, catch him in point, undress him time with tape, no escape. The Corleone, Fettuccine, Capone, home in your own zone to get kidnapped and clapped in your dome. We got it sewn. The firm are the wars unknown. Lower your tone, face it. Homicide cases get thrown. Aristocrats, politic and deli with diplomats. Me, I'm an official Mac Lex.
Criminal thoughts in the reports. My destiny's to be the Newport. A nigga probably gotta die too short. That nigga dead on. I can't hair on. They found his head on the couch with his dick in his mouth. I put the hit out. Yo, the smoothest killer since Bugsy. Bitches love me. And Queens where my drugs be. I wear Guess jeans and rugbies. Yo, my people from Medina, they will see you when you re-up, bring your heater or your cream go between us. Real shit. My Desert Eagle got an ill grip. I chill with niggas that hit Dominican.
Cuss refined Tyson's raw talent to win nearly every amateur fight in the region and even a spot at the Junior Olympics, all with one goal in mind: the youngest heavyweight champion. Mike, already setting records as an amateur, was on track to accomplish this, but it would take more than his physical ability to do it. Most of Cuss's training was outside the ring, filling Mike's mind with philosophy and breaking down layers of his psychology to the point where he was nothing but a blank slate. Cuss then made him believe he was destined for greatness and all he had to do was follow him. Mike was adding fuel to the fire as well, reading books about world conquerors and ancient warriors, studying their psychology. He would also watch fight footage every night, sometimes up to 10 hours in a day, quickly becoming a master of boxing. After clearing the amateur scene in the Northeast, Cuss began pushing for him to go pro. Cuss was running out of time as his health was deteriorating and Mike was approaching his late teens. He set up Mike with a management and promotion team with Jim Jacobs and Bill Caton to match him up for fights. The two arranged a series of fights to begin the journey to the championship, with the first being Hector Mercedes on March 6, 1985. His exceptional performance continued throughout his next 7 fights, leading to televised fights in Atlantic City as he started to draw crowds. The dream was becoming real. Tyson was now 11-0, but Cuss was severely ill with pneumonia and passed away on November 4th, 1985. It was now up to Mike, his trainer Kevin Rooney, and his 2 managers to finish the job. Mike stuck to the plan and dominated the sport of boxing for the next decade.
Biggie. This goes out to you. This goes out to you, and you, and you, Biggie. And you. This goes out to you. This goes out to you. This goes out to you, and you, and you. Your reign on the top was short like leprechauns as I crush so-called willies, thugs, and rapadons. Get in that ass quick fast like Ramadan. It's that rap phenomenon. Don Dada, fuck Papa. You got them. Call me Francis M.H. White intake like toast. So iron was told in shootout, stay low and keep firing. Keep extra clips for extra shit. Who's next to flip on that cat with that grip on rap? The most shady, Frankie baby. Ain't no telling where I may be. May see me in D.C. at Howard Homecoming with my man Capone drumming fucking something. You should know my stilo. Went from 10 G's for blow to 30 G's a show to all G's with O's I never seen before. So, Jesus, get off the notorious. Mean us before I squeeze and bust. If the beef between us, we can settle it with the chrome and metal shit. I make it hot like a kettle get. You're delicate, you better get who sent you. You still pedal shit. I got more rides than Great Adventure. Big wow.
Oh, well, you're gonna do it. Do it.
Kick in the door, waving the 4-4. All you heard was Papa, don't hit me no more. Kick in the door, waving the 4-4.
And look at young Mike Tyson, age 20 years old. He could go into the record books tonight as one of the very youngest heavyweight champions of all time if he can capture the title from the reigning champ, Trevor Berbick. Kevin Rooney with him. He's in your WBC heavyweight champion.
Any question from the challenger, Chief Beckett? Any question from the champion?
Tyson as he takes a light left jab. Tyson will be able to get underneath it. Oh, wow! With a right, another left hook that just raises. Trevor, with this bravado, could get in some big trouble in a hurry. It's great that he has the courage, but this is a poor fight plan. Oh, the right hand gets him behind the left ear. Berbick tries the man. Look at this combination, and Berbick ready to go, but he stays on his feet. Another right hand clips him. He can't take 20 years old Mike Tyson on his way to becoming one of the youngest heavyweight champions of all time. Bangs the body. Wow, with that uppercut is Tyson. Catches him with a light left hook, and he goes down. He goes down. He should be able to get up from this. His legs may be shut. They are. As Trevor Berbick falls back into the rope. I don't know if he's going to be able to continue. He's got the heart, but his body won't let him do what his mind wants to. And he's counted out. It'll be scored as a knockout. Mills Lane counted him out to 10. It's all over. We've got a brand new heavyweight champion of the world, Mike Tyson.
At just 20 years old, Mike Tyson defeated Trevor Berbick and became heavyweight champion of the world, on track to become the greatest heavyweight ever.
This is it, what? Lucini pouring from the sky, let's get rich, what? The cheeky vines and sugar dimes can't quit, what? Now pop the cork and steam the Vega and get lit, what? Introducing Phantom of the Dark, walk through my heaven with levitation from reefers, drenching deep as an Eve 7, show with Rugers, flash vines,
because I'm the best in the world, even though a lot of you don't like to hear it. It's fact, I'm the best, you know what I mean? Sometimes I don't want to believe it myself, but it's the truth. I'm the best. And I'm just convinced, you know what I mean? These fellas, I dare them challenge me with their somewhat primitive skills. They're just as good as dead.
What? Sensations at the Monte Glory screaming Chiba. Fulfilling pleasures in my castles, blow the smoke out. The boss of Vegas substitutes when the Dutch is gone. The load don't stop, give me shots. The season sauteers, souffleurs for swerving no corners. We managed to moolah.
Everything Cuss told him had come true. He had all the money and fame he could imagine, and people viewed him as a sports hero. But he couldn't have ever imagined the downsides of this success. Cuss was no longer there to protect and guide him, and now that he was the undisputed champion, everyone wanted a piece of the success that came with the belts. There was, however, another person that came into his life that changed everything.
Let's go. Yeah. And I just wanna make Yeah.
He and Robin Gibbons quickly fell in love and got married, but it was the beginning of a vicious downfall for Mike. He was living in a fantasy world, blowing through tens of millions of dollars, traveling the world, and everyone treating him like a hero, for better and for worse. Mike, who didn't even expect to live to 30 years old, was enjoying it while he could. With the highs came the lows, and Mike was quickly losing the people around him. His co-manager Jim Jacobs had suddenly died after a long, secret battle with leukemia, and there was now one less barrier for the vultures of boxing to reach Mike. One of them was Don King, a notorious but extremely successful boxing promoter who had some sort of stake in nearly every fight in the 80s. He promised deals for Mike that his manager Bill couldn't provide, knowing he could easily arrange big fights and cheat him out of millions. Mike, who didn't have as strong of a relationship with Bill as he did with Jimmy, gave in to Don's false promises and was falling into his trap.
Hi, I'm Mike Tyson. Watch me beat Peter McNeely on Salmon's Cablevision.
No, Salmon's Communication.
All right. Hi, I'm Mike Tyson. Watch me beat Peter McNeely on Salmon's Communication.
Because I'm not trying to win a popularity contest. You know what I mean? I'm trying to go out here and I'm not fighting the Civil War. I'm fighting the poverty war. You know, I'm looking for M-O-N-E-Y. I am a capitalist.
From this point on, boxing was all about money and no longer about the desire for glory that Cuss had instilled in him. Mike was completely surrounded by people using him, and he lost direction as his life outside of the ring began to collapse. Robin and her mother were trying to take advantage of him and steal money, leading to divorce. Don King was fighting with Bill Caton to try to cut him out of the picture, and Kevin Rooney was let go after voicing his opinion about Don's practices, leaving Mike with no one from his old world that made him great. He was starting to lose control.
His legs and he's laid out, and then another picture.
No matter who you blame for causing the fight, by the time it was all over, Green suffered an injury to his eye, and Tyson a hairline fracture to his right hand. and who knows how mumuch damage to his reputation.
Michael is a manic depressive. He is. I mean, that's just a fact. And
despite all of this chaos in his life, he continued to knock out opponents with ease, but the pressure was taking a serious toll on him. It finally all caught up to him on February 11th, 1990 in Tokyo, where he fought Buster Douglas.
Mike actually, his legs, you notice his legs in these wide shots, he doesn't have good bounce in his knees. Buster's legs actually look fresher to me. See Mike the way he went back in his heels, doesn't have the good balance. His legs together as Buster's landing these, oh nice uppercut by Buster Douglas. Look at this, he's knocked Mike Tyson down for the first time in his career. Mike Tyson hits the canvas, he's in big trouble. He may not be able to recover. It's up to 7 and 8. He's not gonna make it. Unbelievable! 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 Buster Douglas is the new heavyweight champion of the world.
This upset, however, would quickly become the least of his worries.
In the past hour, the jury has returned 4 indictments, 1 for rape, 2 charges of criminal deviant conduct, and 1 charge.
I'm innocent.
How you doing, Mr. Charles? What do you want people to know here?
Basically, I'm innocent. Didn't do nothing to her. Everybody watching knows what happened. I know what happened, and we go prove that I'm innocent.
He was sentenced to 6 years in prison, but would only serve 3, continuing to live like a king behind bars. He was still motivated to box though, especially when hearing about the belts being passed around to fighters he didn't think were worthy. He was also in deep debt since Don got him to sign manipulative contracts and refused to hire any financial advisors or lawyers to sort Mike's finances. Don wanted more money and Mike needed the money as well, so he began working on a plan for Mike's comeback. Don set up a series of fights for him, signing a huge 6-fight deal with MGM Grand in Las Vegas that would pay off his debts and make him even wealthier than before.
And Tyson always down straight up there. Now that's not. That was a punch high on the head.
Ladies and gentlemen, here is the former undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, introducing the one, the only, Iron Mike Tyson.
Just like that, he was back on top, but the pressure that came along this time led to an even harder fall.
Again, more head movement from Tyson, something we didn't see in the first fight. He looks over to Mills Lane. There's a cut around the right eye of Mike Tyson from a clash of heads, I believe.
That's just what happened, and Mike said, what about this biting? What about this head? Terrible thing, and what an anticlimactic way to have this fight unfold.
Just got a pretty good glance at it. Pushing into the ropes by Holyfield. And Tyson really beginning to look frustrated now.
It's not. A couple deep breaths. I'm sorry. Okay. Deep breaths. You're fine, Mike.
Yes, he is. And he better get started.
Round 2 very bad for Tyson with that bad cut. Pushed away by Holyfield. Again showing his strength. A sense of urgency here by Mike Tyson. The crowd is turning. Many yelling Tyson. Ooh, a low blow by Holyfield with the left hook, and Mills Lane gives him an earful. Back comes Tyson on the belt. Tyson with a short left hook to the head of Holyfield. A right hand by Mike Tyson.
That's the jab Mike didn't have in the first fight.
What happened here?
He got bit, I think.
Evander Holyfield, look out, he's pushed right here above us by Tyson.
He's got bit in the ear.
Oh my goodness, he's got a bloody right ear. Holyfield bit by a dirty Mike Tyson.
I can't believe what I'm seeing.
It's over.
The ear bite dragged Tyson to a new low as his boxing license was revoked and he was no longer allowed to fight in the United States, including Vegas and Atlantic City, the two cities he brought hundreds of millions to. Mike was viewed as a monster by this point, inside and outside of the ring. He went from a sports hero to the most feared man on the planet. Don King loved this image throughout his career, thinking it brought more money and let Mike run wild, eventually leading to a tragic final downfall.
Don't give me your swing, I got mines and that's the thing. Blase, 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 who named Belvin? Don't give me your swing, I got mine and that's the thing. Blase, 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 who named Belvin? And I floated back the stash, heard the alley on the Henny splash. Trying not to crash, swerving got the Lala on the dash. Getting bent
I was gonna rip his heart out, I'm the best ever. I'm the most brutal and vicious and most ruthless champion there's ever been. There's no one can stop me. Links to the conqueror, no, I'm Alexander, he's no Alexander. I'm the best ever, there's never been anybody ruthless. I'm Sonny Liston, I'm Jack Dempsey, there's no one like me. I'm from Nairclaw, there's no one that can match me. My style is impetuous, my defense is impregnable, and I'm just ferocious. I want your heart, I want to eat his children. Praise be to Allah.
Moving on Picasso, painting my portraits and condos, cause when the low blows, only the low knows. Hey, don't give me your swing, I got mines and that's the thing. Blase, 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 who named Belvin? Don't give me your swing, I got mine and that's the thing. Blase, 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 who named Belvin? Yes, I don't hate players, I'm from the crown rhyme say. Whatever kids say is get down with no delay. I play my card shark style, kings and aces. Welcome to New York, the Ellis, the four places. I never believed we would do this positive.
But Clive just pushing Tyson down. And he's having difficulty getting up.
Did you want to continue? Well, I would like to continue, but I saw that I was getting beat on. I realized I don't think I have it anymore because I got the ability to stay in shape, but I don't got the fighting guts, I don't think, anymore.
When did you recognize that? At what part of the fight?
I don't know. Early into the fight. I'm just sorry I let everybody down. I just don't have this in my heart anymore.
Did you feel as though you had it coming into the fight?
No, I'm just fighting to take care of my bills, basically. I don't have the stomach for this kind of no more. I'm more conscious of my children and those guys looking at my appearance. I don't have that ferocity. I'm not an animal anymore.
He left the ring and went quiet, focusing on raising his family and making sure his kids were taken care of. He survived some of the highest highs and the lowest lows anyone could face, and he was able to continue to support his family outside of boxing for the years to come. He retired known as the baddest man on the planet, feared by many, but to some he was known as the greatest fighter to ever live.
I can feel the bass from the ceiling to the basement. I don't feel a thing. Get the fuck up out my face, bitch. I don't feel a thing. Yeah, I'm faded. Yeah, I'm shaking. I don't feel a thing. I can feel the bass. I can feel the bass. Distorted records. Recorded. Distorted records. Recorded. Distorted records.
What more distorted records do you have?
First things first, I done heard the worst things. Like if I'm in your top 10, mine's better be the first name. Out your mouth or even worth saying. Little niggas is my offsprings. They deserve a nigga first name, middle name, surname. From another planet, birthplace. Cloud 9, hello Earthlings. My newest president an asshole. I guess that's why I'm leaving turd stains. My ex used to shit with bad things. All they talk about was bird things. Try to put them on the bad brains. Bird hoes got the bird brains. Everything I do ground break. Big body make the floor break. Big bass make the world shake. Flacco out here cause of earthquakes. I can feel the bass. I can see the fakes. Word to TD Jakes.